Bundle up, because it's a cold world. Else your seat's really cold outside.
This is my first time in Rwanda, but also my first time in Africa. So my first time anywhere on the continent of Africa. Even though my father was actually born in South Africa, my mother is from Taiwan, and they met in the United States, where I'm from. So even though my father is originally from South Africa, this is my first time in the whole continent of Africa. And I'm very glad that my first time here is in Rwanda. So I didn't know very much about Rwanda. I was familiar with the stories of the genocide. I watched some movies like Hotel Rwanda. I did do some research and found other stories, more recent stories, such as the stories of forgiveness and reconciliation that are happening here. And I was very impressed by these stories. And I did see some things about how it was growing economically and how crime was very low and the streets are very clean. So I saw some of those stories, but it's so different. And it's only because I was researching before my trip that I found those things. I would say the average American does not know very much about Rwanda and probably only knows stories about the genocide and doesn't know very much about what's been happening in the last 25 years for most Americans. So part of what I hope to do when I go back home is to educate more people and spread the story of the good things that are happening in Rwanda. Corning is known as a glass company, and we have some very big businesses, and two of the big businesses are, one is optical fiber for telecommunications. So Corning, the company I work for, actually invented the first optical fiber that could carry laser signals for telecommunications. This was a long time ago, back in the 1970s. And since then, we've grown to become the largest manufacturer of optical fiber in the world. So I'm sure that Rwanda is using optical fiber in some parts of their telecommunications network, and this is enabling the whole worldwide global internet growth. So that's one area. Another area is we make a lot of glass for displays, like smartphone displays and flat panel TV displays. We also make glass which covers the touch screens, like on your smartphone. It's called Gorilla Glass. So there are multiple versions of Gorilla Glass. We have Gorilla Glass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different versions. I was blessed to be able to work on one of the versions of Gorilla Glass. It's called Gorilla Glass SR Plus and Gorilla Glass DX Plus. This is an ultra hard version of Gorilla Glass that we invented and manufacture to be an extra hard version because we were concerned that sapphire could be a competitive threat to Gorilla Glass. But through our invention process and our manufacturing process, we figured out a way to create a special coating on the Gorilla Glass that makes it very hard, like 3 times harder than the glass by itself. So it's a strong competitor to sapphire, but it's much lower cost than sapphire, which could be a competition for glass. And so this is helping us maintain our advantage in the marketplace through innovation. And this product is being sold, for example, on smartwatches by Samsung, is one example. And we also sell to other customers, many smartphone and smartwatch customers. Another interesting one is one I worked on in graduate school, where my professor had some ideas about a special kind of optical fiber that he wanted to create, but we didn't know what materials to use or what fabrication process to use to make it. So I was thankful to be able to join his team at the early time when they had these ideas of a structure of a special optical fiber. A normal optical fiber uses glass in the core to transmit laser energy down the glass core of the fiber. This special kind of optical fiber that my professor at MIT had discovered or had the idea for was a hollow optical fiber where you could actually transmit laser light down an air-filled core, a hollow core of the fiber, which for many reasons is much more difficult due to the physics of the materials. But if you could do it, it could enable much higher power of laser to be transmitted down these fibers. So we did a lot of studying, we researched the literature, we looked at what other people were doing, and we got some creative, inventive ideas about how we could combine materials in a certain way. and use unusual materials in combination, using a glass and a plastic in combination, which is unusual, and then actually drawing these things into fibers with very well-controlled structure at a very small length scale. You could almost call it like a nanotechnology because it uses layers of materials that are below 1 micron in size, so they're nano-sized materials. And so we were successful, and we were able to create this hollow core optical fiber with this nanoscale material lining, which enabled the very high power laser energy to be transmitted through the core. And this also required a large team to figure out the manufacturing process and actually lead to it becoming a commercial product, but we were blessed to be able to launch it as a commercial product as well. And that special fiber has been used in over 100,000 laser surgeries, has been able to help over 100,000 laser surgery patients today. So I've been very thankful for that, because I'm thankful to be able to help those patients that were helped by this special optical fiber in these laser surgery procedures, which would not have been possible without the special fiber that we invented. So I'm very thankful to be part of that. Because in order to invent or to innovate, you need to combine creativity with the things you learn about from the textbooks. Because if it's already in the textbook, then that means other people already know it and they're already doing it. We need to learn that. We need to learn what people already are doing in the past. That's what's in the textbooks. So then we can build on that and improve on that. That's invention, that's innovation. So to build and improve on what people have done in the past, we need to add creativity. One way to think about it is that it's like using different parts of your brain. There's a lot of study in neuroscience about one part of your brain is better at math or language. Another part of your brain is better at music or creativity. So I was encouraging the students at the university, we need to combine these different parts of our minds and our hearts. And one of the practical things that people can do to grow in creativity is they can start to keep a journal of creative ideas. And what this is doing is it's exercising the creative new thought, new idea parts of your brain. And so by keeping a journal, you're practicing and you're exercising, and we need to practice in order to get better at something, and that includes creativity. And so we need to know that we can practice creativity and get better at it, and we can do practical things like keeping a journal, which helps us to practice creativity and grow in creativity. It can start with questions. It doesn't have to be a great idea that you think is the best idea in the world. Start simple, like start by writing down your questions. Why are solar panels only 20% efficient? Why can't they make them 40% efficient? And if you're excited about that idea, then start studying it and researching it more. Go on the internet. I recommend people use simple tools like Google Scholar, which is not the same as the normal Google website. It's a different website, scholar.google.com, which brings up scientific articles and scientific journals and patents more quickly. So if you get excited about an idea or a question you have, then start researching it. And you'll learn so much through that researching process because you're excited. So that's what I really want the young people to look for, is what are you excited about? And when you're excited about something, start studying it and learning about it more. And you'll really learn very quickly because of the excitement you have, because it's your question, your idea. So pursue those things, and maybe it will turn into something that becomes a real invention or innovation. But even if it doesn't, you'll still learn so much because you're excited about your own question or your own idea. So I encourage people to pursue that.